Welcome back to Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Sustainability has long been an important issue in the beef industry, and that includes having the resources to pass the operation down to the next generation. Lane Nordland introduces us to a business that specializes in helping ranchers plan for the future.
That's right, Kevin. Financial planning is essential for farmers and ranchers to be successful, and for cattlemen and women attending the convention in Phoenix, they were able to learn a little more about succession and the new tax bill that passed back in 2017. And one of our leading experts is Mr. Michael McCormick with Lincoln Agribusiness Services. And Michael, there's a lot of information out there in terms of the tax bill, but what most ranchers are wondering, what's in it for me and how does it benefit my operation?
Well, we're in a new era. One of the things that have opened up is the ability to transfer your wealth to your grandchildren and allow your children to use it for their lifetime, and at their death, there's no estate tax. That's the good news. The bad news is in 8 years, that window closes. It's gone. It reverts back to the $5.4 million tax that Congress fought over prior to dealing with passing of the code. That's probably the biggest one. The second one that we've encountered is a number of the ranchers have old-fashioned documents. They were written in '89. Nobody wants to deal with death and dying, and so those old documents pass everything to the spouse. And the way it's drafted, Congress said if you do it that old way, you lose the first tax credit. So out of a $22 million example, somebody could pay close to $4.5 million in taxes because they have an old-fashioned will or trust.
Now, starting today, what do producers need to have on their mind talking with their financial planners? What are the first steps of action they should be considering with this new tax bill? As you mentioned, some of these provisions only last 8 years.
I think our primary is looking at family goals and objectives. Do you want the ranch to go to the next generation? Equalization. How do we deal with what happens between one child who's a producer, loves the cattle business, and 3 kids who are not producers that are actually looking at, sell the ranch, I want my land. So the first thing is, how do you equalize that? You may end up using your credit just for the child who gets the land and be disequal in your distribution. There's a lot of approaches to it. Done improperly, they litigate.
Now, also, succession planning is a big item that needs to be taken care of as soon as possible. You have dealt with that for a very long time. Let's talk about some of those tips you have for the ranchers out there that are thinking about passing that ranch on to the next generation.
I think the first one that we talk about is a mathematical equation called inclusive versus exclusive gifting. So if in essence the 55% bracket came back and you're my son and I have $1, my tax when I die is 55 cents. If I give you that same dollar while I'm alive, the tax is 33 cents. They look at the gift as 66 was transferred to you, and then 33 would be the tax. The concept is mathematical, inclusive versus exclusive. The leverage on doing it while alive can be much more significant.
Well, Mike, the tax system and succession, it can be a hard process, but thanks to services that you provide and others out there, it helps ranchers across the nation, really makes the process a lot easier. So thank you for joining us here today. And Kevin, it's really impressive what ranchers are learning through workshops that occurred at the 2018 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA trade show, just like succession planning and what the new tax bill has in store for America's ranchers.